Namaste everyone, it's me Ranjan Dhakal. I'm yet back again to continue a chapter of year 7 taken from biology. In previous topic we started the chapter life processes and talked some things about respiration. How does respiration occurs in human beings and other organisms. Now here today we are continuing with the chapter with another life processes that is called as excretion. Now let me remind you what are life processes. They are the activities that living organisms do to keep themselves alive. Now second one is excretion. That means first let's move what is excretion. Now every living organisms they conduct different life processes to make them alive, and during these life processes there are many waste materials that are formed inside their body, and most of those waste materials they must be thrown outside, and these throwing of waste materials from the organism's body, not only in case of humans, that is called as excretions. Now the common waste materials they can be termed as carbon dioxide, water, ammonia, urea, etc. Now moving on to excretion, first let's discuss how does plant excrete. Now when we compare plants and animals, these plants they have very less metabolic activities, very less life activities. Metabolic activities means all the chemical processes that are going inside the body, and they have less compared to the animals. That's why the waste materials also becomes less. Now one of the interesting fact is that the waste of one metabolic activities is sometimes used for other activities also. Now let's move to the points. Now the oxygen, it is the waste product for during photosynthesis, during the food making process, but now they utilize this oxygen for respiration. Even plants need energy, and these waste materials produced during photosynthesis, that is oxygen, it is utilized for respirations, and proteins and nitrogenous compounds they break and ammonia is produced. Look, this ammonia, it is a waste material, but this ammonia it is utilized by plants to convert light energy into chemical energy during photosynthesis. And third one, there is an excess of water. If there is excess of water in the plant's body, they throw out with the help of stomata present in the leaves, and the process is called transpirations. Now in some of the plants there is the production of resins, latex, gums, rubbers. They are also a form of excretions. They throw waste materials, though they are useful to us for any plants, they are waste materials. And there is a seeding of barks, leaves, fruits, and that is also one of the process of throwing of waste materials by the plants. Now moving on to animals. Let's talking about animals. The small animals, unicellular animals, and lower vertebrates, they do not have special organs for excretions. That means they have to eject the waste materials through the surface of their body. You can take an example in case of hydra, sponges. Whereas the developed multicellular animals, they have the different advanced system of excretion. That means they have their excretory system. They have skin, nose, mouth, lungs, intestine, liver, kidney. They are some of the organs that is present in the multicellular organisms. Now first is skins. Look, skin, all of us sweat. Now that sweat contains water, minerals, salts, urea, and those wastes they are thrown out mixing up in the sweat. That means sweating also helps in maintaining the concentration of salt and water. Next one is lungs. In human beings, lungs, what we produce energy, there is liberations of energy, production of energy by utilizing the oxygen, and during this carbon dioxide is thrown out of our body, and that throwing of carbon dioxide it is done with the help of lungs and finally through the nose. And the liver, now very important one, liver actually it removes dead and worn out RBCs, red blood cells that is present in our cells. and it also neutralizes the toxic poisonous materials in our body, and it also removes the excessive amino acid that is present in our body. Now amino acids, it is very useful in making the proteins inside our body, building of proteins, and these amino acids, if they are excess more in amount, then liver neutralizes, removes those excess amino acids. On to the next point, the most important one, kidney, that means responsible for the filtration of the blood, purifying of the blood, and the waste materials that are present in the blood, they are filtered by the kidney and they are removed in the form of urine. Now these urine, look what kind of waste is it like, excess amount of water, salt, urea, uric acid. We have been knowing that if we drink a lot of water, we urine frequently. Why is that? Because that excess water is thrown out in the form of urine, and salts, urea, uric acid, they also gets mixed in that urine, and it's thrown out of our body. And the last one, large intestine. Now when we consume food, there are many indigestible materials, and that indigested materials, they are thrown out by the large intestine, and large intestine passes that indigested material to the rectum, to the anus, and we throw out in the form of excrete. Actually, after digesting or after digestion, the villi in the intestine, small intestine, stomach, they absorbs the nutrients, and that undigested materials and remaining materials that are useless after absorptions of nutrients, that are thrown out by the large intestine. Large intestine passes to the rectum, and rectum to the anus, and from anus it comes out of our body in the form of excreta. Now that means, in a revision, what excretions? Now it is the process of throwing out waste materials, and that is common waste materials: carbon dioxide, water, ammonia. Plants, they use, most of the plants, they use one waste of one metabolic activities for other metabolic activities. Oxygen is used for respiration, which is the waste in photosynthesis. Ammonia, which is waste when there is breaking of protein, that is used to convert light energy to chemical energy. And they throw excess water in the form of transpiration, and the process is called transpiration actually, through stomata. And in animals, lower animals, they do not have separate organ system, that's why they use their body surface. Higher animal, they have different organs, and they can be termed as, same in case of like human, skin, lungs, skin in the form of sweat, lungs throwing carbon dioxide out, liver removing toxic materials, removing RBCs, excess amino acids, kidney purifying blood and formation of urine, and large intestine throwing off undigested materials. I hope you all got something about excretions in living organisms today. Until we meet in the next video, I hope all of you stay tuned with Distance Learning Center of West Montessori Elementary School. Till then, have a good day ahead. Bye bye. Thank you all of you.